Yeah, okay. So this month I've got two albums that I'll not so much review, but probably recommend. Okay, so up first is the long-awaited new Queensryche album titled Digital Noise Alliance. Look, this is just a fantastic album. For anyone that's into metal should get a hold of this. Any Queensryche fan would be wrapped with this album. It's I guess it if you're an old Queensryche fan like myself, and you know, back in the day you looked into the future and wondered what Queensryche would sound like and hoped they'd sound like, I reckon this album would be it, because it certainly connects with the past, especially with albums like Empire, Promised Land, and a little touch of Rage for Order. It's definitely, this album's got all of that. Every song on it's great, in my opinion. There's certainly no bad songs or fillers or anything like that. Even the bonus track was really good, which was a cover of the Billy Idol song Rebel Yell, and who doesn't love the song Rebel Yell? It's a great song, and yeah, Queensryche did a fantastic version of that in my opinion. Look, the album's got everything. It's got progressive moments, heavy moments, melodic moments. The vocals are outstanding. Todd La Torre, it's the best I've ever heard him sing, and just really, really good lyrics. Subject matter is really good. The musicianship's great. Yeah, I can't recommend this album enough. I'm really excited about it. Haven't stopped listening to it actually, and yeah, I really look forward to see where it goes after this. But yeah, definitely recommend this one. So that's Queensryche Digital Noise Alliance. Go check it out. Okay, so up next is Alter Bridge with their brand new album Pawns and Kings. Actually, I only just got my hands on it today. Fucking hell, this is incredible. It is so heavy. It's just brilliant. And Alter Bridge are one of those bands I still don't get it. People, I think, have just got their head in the sand over this band. They keep thinking that they're this band called Creed. Yes, they were once called Creed, but that's way over 20 odd years ago, with a totally different singer, and it's a completely different sounding band to that. This album is just absolutely superb. It's got everything really. Straight from the first song, which is called This Is War. It's and I have to say, it's got one of the best starts to an album I've heard in a long time. It just hits you right between the eyes. It's so fucking heavy. It's brilliant. And there's a song on it called Fable of the Silent Sun, which is a 8.5 minute epic. It's just completely brilliant. All I could say about this album is it's just absolutely brilliant, heavy as fuck. Really, it's some of the heaviest shit you've ever heard. It's incredible, and the vocals are just outstanding. Like, you know, I think everybody knows Miles Kennedy, and he is one of the best singers I've ever heard. He's just a superstar. This guy, I think, is about the only guy I've ever heard that sounds exactly the same live as he does on record. And you know, he's been doing this over 20 odd years now, and his tone is still exactly the same. It's just phenomenal. The effort that he puts into every single line and phrase that he sings is just great. The lyric content is really good, but the music it's so heavy and dark. Really well played. Actually, this album reminds me a lot of Sevendust musically. Sounds a lot like them, and with a bit of Tool mixed in there. It's just a brilliant album. The only one bitch I would have about the album is there's a song on it called Stay, I think. And for some weird reason, the guitarist sings it, and it's a horrible song. It's a really commercial crap song, and it's just got no place on this album whatsoever. Maybe they were struggling for an extra song or something. So that's what it sounds like. So I think they really could have done with leaving that off. It's just not a good song. But anyway, it doesn't spoil the album. It's hard to pick a favourite track. There's so many really good ones, but one I'm really into at the moment is a song called Sin After Sin. It's very Tool inspired, but much heavier and darker, and it's just brilliant. So I highly recommend this album. So get your head out of the sand about this band, Alter Bridge, and if you're into metal, then you've got to be into this band. So go get it.
Right. The first album I want to talk about is Warrel Dane's solo album, Praises to the War Machine. It's a reasonably old album now, but one that I absolutely loved when it first came out, so I thought I'd revisit it. When this little gem came out, I loved it right out of the gate. I've pretty much followed Warrel's career right from the very beginning, in Sanctuary and then Nevermore, so when this one dropped, I was all over it. There's just something about his music and his voice that I've always loved. On this album, I love the level of passion in his voice. He can swing from sort of melancholic, sweet vocals to, spitting venom and bile in the course of, just a few phrases. The songwriting is amazing on this album. Every song's a winner. There's a couple of covers on here which are great also. For me, there's just something very special about this album. And even coming back to it with fresh ears, after not hearing it for a couple of years now, I still think it's a masterpiece. I think it comes down to how accessible, the songs are. I should also mention, the musicianship on this album is flawless. It's actually quite simple in comparison to most of the Nevermore back catalogue, but it's just so solid, and the sound on this release is amazing. It's a great sounding album. In terms of what I think I like most about this album, I think there's just so many dark hooks that draw you in, and most of that feeling comes from the vocals. It's astonishing. Check it out if you haven't. It's an absolute ripper. Alright. Next album I'd like to talk about is Morphosis by a Polish band. I think the name is Shadrian. I hope that's how you pronounce it. I believe this is their second release. I don't know a hell of a lot about the band, but I gave it a chance this month and I'm pretty glad I did. It's a really solid release. This one's kind of doom based with a slightly gothic death metal prog vibe to it. The vocals are predominantly clean with some, tasteful growls, though it's all in good measure. I really like the songwriting on this album, and what struck me the most after quite a few listens was how melodic the vocals were. There are some exceptional vocal hooks in there that really sort of come to the fore, after a few listens. I was really drawn to that side of this album over time. You can obviously tell that, English is not their native tongue by some of the lyric choices and phrasing here and there, but it doesn't really matter overall. I actually gave this album quite a bit of my time this month. It's just got stronger and stronger for me. Just a very consistent album from start to finish, and I would recommend this one to anyone interested in the doomier side of metal. Great album from a band I hope to hear more from, in the future. Just a really, really great album with lots of potential, I think, for the future. All right, next band up is Deathwhite with their new release, Grey Everlasting. Again, this one is pretty down-tempo and doomy. Great musical performances throughout. Everything about this release is amazing, from the production, the songwriting and all the performances. This one took me quite a few spins to actually really dig, but sometimes when you persist with an album that doesn't quite hit you the first time you hear it, it can pay off, and this one did pay off. It's definitely a grower. I actually kept coming back to it over and over sort of through the course of the month, and it just got better and better. There are a few up-tempo passages on this album, but for the most part it's dark and doomy with a sort of suffocating slow heaviness to it. And what I like most about the previous album I reviewed and this album is they basically both belong to the same genre, and that being I guess doom metal, but they're both extremely different with what they bring to the table musically. Now the vocals are mid-ranged for the most part, and that's where they sit perfectly, and they're delivered with confidence, and they're completely unpretentious. This laid-back sort of approach really suits this style. It's solid all round. Lyrics too. So give this one a try. Like I said, it's dark, doomy, depressive, it's heavy, and it's a really mature release from a songwriting perspective. Just really well crafted songs that are well thought out and put together. Really looking forward to more from this band because I enjoyed this release immensely. So go have a crack at it. It's very, very good. Next one up for me was Muse, Will of the People. Now, I actually went online to check out a couple of reviews before I recorded this dialogue, and I was amazed at how much shit this album got. People and reviewers really dislike this for some reason, and I have no idea why. When you pick up a new Muse album, you pretty much know what you're going to get. They've been very consistent, in my opinion, over the years, while still moving forward and experimenting sort of as they go. And this is no exception. It still sounds like Muse, but it has some slightly sort of poppier moments along with some really heavy moments, so it balances out well. But essentially, they're still the same band. There's nothing subtle about the band or their lyrical content. I guess they write, arena-sized theatrical rock with a hint of metal, and they always have been doing that, and nothing's changed here. I love this album pretty much from the moment I heard it, and I'm not sure why it gets so much hate. It certainly doesn't deserve it, in my opinion. It's almost a tall poppy syndrome scenario. Anyway, give it a try, because I think the album is very good, despite all the hate. Alright, so that's it for this month. Don't forget to check out our brand new song Supernova. It's out on all streaming platforms, as well as from our Bandcamp page. You can find our Linktree link in the description below. That contains links to all our music and social media, and will get you to where you want to go. So thanks for tuning in once again. We appreciate it greatly, and thanks to everyone who's purchased music or merch. Thank you so much. Until next time.